You are listening to Charting Cryptos and Currencies. Let's go through our 6 charts for today. We're going to start, as we always do, with the 24-hour-a-day Bitcoin chart. Remember, on the show every day, we chart the Bitcoin ETF, HODL. Reason we do that is because that's what we are most likely to trade. After what went on with FTX and all that other stuff, not putting my money into any of those crypto exchanges. Now, maybe you do, then you need to practice on BTCUSD. This is the 24-hour a day, but as we compare them, and I've done this many times on the show, they appear to track each other pretty well. But remember, when the market opens, of course, the ETF has to catch up with what's happened overnight or over the weekend with the 24-hour-a-day chart, but it catches up really quickly. I don't find a problem with it, but depending on how you're going to trade, if you want to keep your money one of those crypto exchanges and at some point you want to practice trade or you're going to real money trade at some point, Bitcoin, then of course, that's the way you want to practice. Not me. I'm going to use I have used the ETF. So let's jump into these charts. Where are we on the direction of Bitcoin right now? You can see it as it's tracking down. We're currently neutral to slightly bullish, about a 58% probability of continuing that way. We see resistance on our chart now. Right now, Bitcoin is at 96,687. We see resistance $97,191. We see support at $95,307. We find our buy point at 96,500. The sell point 95,700. So again, that doesn't help me out much at all based upon the figures and the way we've doing the calculating because, again, we're only slightly bullish. Not super excited about where Bitcoin has been going lately. We can see, the way it's been tracking on the 195-minute chart for the last last day, as it started moving up back on Tuesday, up through Wednesday, just passing by. That's what's given us the slightly bullish move, but again, not super excited about that. Would want to see a whole lot of volume backing things up. And the volume we can see on that 2-day chart on our Heikin-Ashi candlesticks is down. Volume this week on the weekly chart is down. We do have that up movement since Tuesday, pushing through. But again, just makes us slightly bullish. Doesn't excite me a great deal. Expected move might be somewhere up around the $1,500 mark. Down move about $1,000. And remember, the sell point's below 95,700. And currently, it's at 96,668. Up for the day, or up right now, 1.10%. So again, I don't trade when I don't have 75 or even 80% probability. I'm not going to be pulling the trigger on something risky, particularly at that dollar amount. Where are we on Ethereum? And again, this is the 24-hour-day Ethereum chart. We are neutral to slightly bullish. Again, similar to Bitcoin, we're at about a 55% bullish. We see resistance at 27.74. That's $2,774. We see support at the $263 mark. And again, the buy point for us is above 27.20. The sell point is below 26.80. And again, Bitcoin is right there at that buy point. But again, not super excited about it. Up move before we hit resistance around $80. Down move around $60. Not super excited about all this pressure that's been pushing it down, even though we've seen it tracking up here recently. Now, let's move from our 24-hour-a-day charts, and we're going to move over to Bitwise. What is that? That is an ETF. It's the Bitwise 10 Crypto Index Fund. It is the top 10 cryptocurrencies weighted as per market share. which means Bitcoin is the king daddy, followed down the line, way down the line, by Ethereum, and then the other 8 top cryptocurrencies. What do we see going on there? Well, we see some bullishness, about 65%. We see resistance at $60.43. We see support at $56.23. Our buy point is above $59. We're currently at $58.59. And again, not pushed above that weekly trend line yet. You can see where it's just been sliding along sideways. That's why we don't have overwhelming numbers pushing it up. Our sell point is below $57. So the buy point is above $59. Sell point is below $57. We see an expected move before resistance, up $2 and then down $1.50. That is where we are on our cryptos. Now, let's go across the pond. For some of you, it's where you live. We're going to the UK. What do we see going on with the British pound? Well, been moving up the last few weeks. We can see, though, for the last 2 weeks where things are topping off. We can see there on the 2-day chart, not a lot of volume here recently. See where things popped up to the interim high lately, back on, Friday morning, the 14th. Since then, not being able to move up much, and we are just flat neutral at 50%, period. We just, we see resistance. Currently, it's at 21.08. We see resistance at 122.21. We see support at 119.93. The buy point is above 121, which is where it is now. It's below 120. Those are really close. Why? Because we're neutral. It could go up or down. Toss a coin. Why would you ever trade anything like that? I wouldn't. So it's plus, the points are +2 up, -2 down. So we'll continue to keep an eye on the pound. But as far as that run-up goes, we have gotten neutral as of late. Now let's move on to the euro. What's up with the euro? It had been up for 2 weeks, starting on January 21, the week beginning then on the 27th, then pulled back, week beginning the 3rd of February. Spinning top last week, the week beginning the 10th, and this week beginning the 18th. Remember, it was a shortened market week because of President's Day here in the States. We are neutral to slightly bearish on the euro. That's about 52%. Again, nothing knocking it out of the park here on these currencies. We see resistance at 97.28. We're right now at 96.27. We see support at 95.62. And again, buy point is 96.50 or above. Below 95.80. See it moving up about $1.50, down about $1. And all these are predicated on where things might go in the next 5 days. That's what we're looking at. Now, let's take a look at where we are with the yen. Of course, we've watched the yen as it's tracked. And, it's been, moving pretty decently. When it tracked up, that was pretty good. When it came down, we had these 2 weeks of where it tried to take off again before the Bank of Japan jammed it down again. And it's started moving up back in mid-January. We see where things really pumped up as far as the volatility spiking up on the week beginning the 3rd of February. The high then 61.12. Last week, 60.87. This week, 61.03. So not reached the high of 2 weeks ago. For the day, it was up 0.35%. It's the only thing of the 3 currencies up for the day. Pound was down 0.14%. Euro was down 0.22%. So again, very small changes. But here, up 0.35%. And again, we can see where the latest 2-day candle started off weak and did move up above that weekly trend line. 2-day after dipping through it back last week. has been pushing up through it. And it gives us about a 60% bullish probability. Resistance is at 61.40. We're currently at 60.94. We see support at 59.68. So the buy point is $60.80 above and below $60.20. And again, not much movement expected. $1 up, 80 cents down. So again, not the kind of thing with those small moves and without having much of a percentage to back you up on any of these currencies would I be looking at doing anything with them. But again, that's our predictive model over the next 5 days. So again, we'll watch, wait, and see, and we'll update you next week. Thank you so much for being with us. Always love to hear from you. CW at chartingwealth.com.